Hello and welcome to phase 2 of Overhaul Your Overwhelm. In the first phase, I led you through a number of strategies to help audit the commitments and expectations that you have in your life. You also completed several surveys to help you identify your strengths and your preferred ways of being, working, and weaknesses. I've had you self-reflecting on your limiting beliefs and your baggage that holds you back. And you also completed some tasks around identifying your values. So I trust that this work done has provided some aha moments for you. These past 4 weeks have laid the foundations for the work that is to come in this phase, so phase 2, called Consider, and then phase 3, which is called Create. So this phase is also about drawing on those strengths that you discovered, challenging any self-limiting beliefs that keep you stuck, and ensuring that your actions are aligned with your values. So I'm just going to share a little story about me and about overwhelm and stress. So about 4 years ago, I was driving home from my job as a primary school principal, and I could feel this tightness in my chest, and my heart was beating faster and faster, and I kind of felt like my shoulders were rolling in to protect my heart. I arrived home and my partner, who had been out for lunch, was not feeling well as a result of some food poisoning. So I lied down on the bed and I took some painkillers because I just couldn't work out for the life of me why my muscles or my chest were so tight, making it really difficult for me to breathe. This went on for a little while. My partner was still sick and of no assistance to me at all. And after a little while, I did say to my partner, I think I need to go to the hospital. So I called a friend of mine who said, he would come over and get me and take me to the hospital. And then he called back and he said, no, if it's anything to do with your heart, call the ambulance. I'll meet you at the hospital. So I called the ambulance, they arrived, lights going, that sort of stuff. And I, was taken out of the house and popped into the back of the ambulance. Lights, sirens, took me to the closest hospital, which wasn't far away. In that time, they gave me something, to, put under my tongue to help with this incredibly constricted, tight chest. So I was raced through emergency and, I had all these monitors stuck on me. They gave me some, something that kind of really relaxed me. They were taking bloods. I was being checked and monitored at regular intervals while they ran a whole stack of tests. And at about, I went to hospital at about 8 p.m. at night, and at 2 a.m. in the morning, they said to me, we cannot work out what is wrong with you. You haven't had a stroke. You haven't had a heart attack. You don't have meningitis. You don't have. And they said, all we can put it down to is too much stress. And so this life-threatening condition in terms of my stress and the way I was living life, the reality was that I was feeling extremely overwhelmed. And so as a school principal, so for many years, I'd been taking on too many things at work. I was trying to be everything to everyone. And underneath it all, I was actually struggling to meet the expectations that I had set for myself. Internally, I kind of felt like a car that was stuck in mud. It was bogged in mud. with the wheels spinning furiously, but the car actually going absolutely nowhere. And this feeling persisted, even though I was practicing yoga, I was meditating, I was exercising, I was getting enough sleep, and I was doing all the typical self-care activities that we're told to do in order to manage the stress in our hectic lives. So whilst this incident to hospital was a key turning point, another key turning point for me, I started to do some research that could help me understand how to manage some of the overwhelm. Now, I am going to say that doing self-care stuff is absolutely critical and important. But I knew that doing the self-care stuff, as I said before, wasn't actually going to take the stress away. So there's a gentleman by the name of Robert Keegan, who is a developmental psychologist, who in his book called In Over Our Heads, he talks about the mental demands and complexities that we face in our daily lives and how that has evolved to a level that requires us to use a different mental operating system than the one that we've been socialized with. So situational and cultural expectations about what we should be doing and thinking all come together to place unrealistic emotional, physical, and mental demands on us. And these demands are often at odds with the complex situations and realities that we face in this modern world. So I guess for me, that really helped me understand why, my yoga, my meditation, my sleep, all of those sorts of things that we utilize and access for stress management are helpful and therapeutic to treat symptoms, but they don't really solve the root causes of our problems. And the problem is more systemic, and the actual solutions are probably counterintuitive to what we are mentally equipped to come up with. So here are some things that I'm going to get you to listen to. And so there's 3 things. And this is what I want you to do. These things are must-dos. So the first one is I want you to detach. I want you to stand on the mountaintop at least once a day. So what do I mean by that? So our day-to-day activities, our interactions, our disappointments, the triumphs, the successes, the emotions, and our thoughts are really hard to analyze objectively because we are in there playing the game. So every day, I want you to take yourself to a mountaintop in your head and replay the day's events and the players, so you and everybody else, as if you were seeing a movie. I want you to watch the events and detach your emotions from all of it, as if you were going to give the players objective advice. When you practice this daily, you become less attached to your own expectations and you start to see the bigger picture emerge. This helps you to depersonalize, so you're not taking things personally, and detach from being at the center or the core of the stories, which makes it so much easier to stay calm when something overwhelming happens. This next one. So you're going to detach. You're going to stand on a mountaintop every day and replay the day. So I'd like you to do that either on your drive home or on your trip home, whether it's on, the train or the bus. But if it's in a car, then do it in the car as you drive home. Pay attention to the road. Or if you, your child or someone has a sports training or something like that and you're having to be there, then sit and do that before you scroll through Facebook and do all those sorts of things, or before you start talking to someone, or sit in the car and do it. But I want you to make it a priority. It may be when you're having a shower before you go to bed. It may be for the first 5 minutes that you sit in bed, okay? But I want you to replay it in your head like a movie. So imagine yourself sitting at the top of a mountain watching the movie unfold. Okay, that's the first thing to do daily. The next thing is I want you to get real. Okay, and to do an expectations inventory and negotiate. So I want you to have a think about how much and what do you expect from yourself on a daily basis. I know that we've done an audit activity where you looked at all of the commitments and obligations that you are bound to. But now I want you to funnel it down and look at yourself on a daily basis. So how much and what do you expect from yourself on a daily basis? When you add up all the roles that you have, and you've done that in your audit, every one of them comes with a set of expectations. And when you add up all of those roles with all of the expectations, and they're out of balance, they begin to compete with one another. And suddenly you are feeling overwhelmed because you cannot possibly meet all the demands that you set yourself. That's why doing a realistic expectations inventory is in order every week. So you're going to detach daily. You're going to do an expectations inventory for the week that's coming. So I want you to make a list of all the things that you expect of yourself or that others expect of yourself for the coming week. And so under each day, Monday through to Sunday or whatever, but for the 7 days, think of all the things that are happening and all of the expectations that you have placed on you. Maybe it's you've got to work late on a business project. Perhaps it's attending your child's basketball game. Maybe it's having a date night with your spouse. Perhaps it's going to the doctor or a specialist appointment. Or maybe it's supporting your friend through something that's happening in their life. Maybe it's going to the vet. Maybe it's going to the bank. But whatever it is, list all of the expectations down for the week coming. So getting real means that not everything can have the same attention every week. You can't be present and centered everywhere if you're expecting yourself to do it all. So by doing this inventory, it asks you to get real with yourself and to have a look, what is going to be center stage this week? Why? And what does that mean to you? Then negotiate with those around you to set some expectation boundaries for the week. Then the third thing is you're going to focus. So you're going to reconnect to purpose. So we've already done an inventory audit. You've worked out some of your values. So I want you to write on a card or a piece of paper or in your journal 3 things in your life that are most important to you, no matter what is going on. These will closely align with your values because these are the things that matter most to you. Then I'd like you to write a 1-sentence description of your life mission. Put it in your notes on your phone. Make it as a screensaver. Write it on a business card and carry it around with you and look at it every morning. And then ask yourself, does what you are doing or what you are about to do really matter in the context of what you've written on the card? If the answer is no, that could be a signal of a demand or expectation you need to let go of or renegotiate. If you make a choice to continue to do it anyway, remind yourself that any stress that you allow yourself to feel is self-imposed, and you can make a different choice. Feeling stressed and overwhelmed is the byproduct of increasingly complex demands and expectations we and others place on us. Operating in this state of overwhelm has serious implications for our well-being and our health. Learning to manage overwhelm is an absolutely inside job and requires not just trying out and taking on some techniques, but also a serious shift in mindset, a renegotiation of expectations, and an ability to make conscious choices about what is truly important. Okay, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.